Hello. Do you know what this is? Well, I picked it up in the Asian grocers on Saturday. Now, I've never seen one of these before. Lots of you will know what it is. But I asked the gentleman, what is it? And he said, it's a wawa. I said, a what? A wawa. Okay, so I asked him what you did with a wawa, and he told me that you could eat the skin, you could eat the inside, but don't eat the seeds. I popped it in my basket. And then further around the store, I ran into one of the younger staff whose English I know is a lot better. And I asked him, what's this? It's a wawa, he said. Okay. So at that point, I thought, I'm going to take responsibility for my lack of understanding here and say, I'd like to look that up on the internet. Could you spell it for me? G-U-A-V-A. Wawa, otherwise known as a guava. Now, I had decided to take responsibility for the communication breakdown because as far as he was concerned, he'd made perfect sense. It was a wawa. Two of them had told me it was a wawa. Now, I made the decision that I could have walked out of there thinking it was a wawa, or I could have worked out what it genuinely was, how I would describe it. So I took the responsibility there to ask questions and discover what the real communication was. Generally though, I would suggest that it's up to each one of us to make sure that if we are telling somebody else something, that we are the ones who is responsible for making sure they understand. Now, I take on responsibility in this situation because my English it's my first language and it's clearly not his, very strong Vietnamese accent. Now, if you are in a situation where you're speaking to somebody who does speak English as their first language, and you can tell if you read them, if you look very carefully when you're speaking to somebody and you're listening with your whole body, you're realizing that 55% of communication is conveyed non-verbally, and you're looking at that and you're thinking, I'm not getting in, I'm not getting through here. Then I would say that it's actually our responsibility as the instigator of the communication to make sure the other person has understood. How are we going to do that? How are we going to repair the situation? Well, you ask questions for clarification. Do you understand what I'm saying? What does that mean to you? How could you, and you draw out of them in their own words what you have said, not repeating back the words you said, because we can all do that. How many of us have gone into a room when somebody else has been, say, watching the TV or whatever, and we've said, you haven't listened to a word I've said, have you? Because they've been engrossed in what they're doing. And they can turn around then and give you the last 3 or 4 words with a, see, I was listening. But actually that's still in the feedback loop, that's still in the memory loop. The rest of it wasn't there at all. But if you can parrot back the last 4 or 5 words, it makes it look as though you've taken it in. So beware of that when you're asking somebody, what did I just say? Get them to express it back to you in their own words, and that is the way that you'll realise whether or not you've made sense to them. And if you haven't made sense to them, what can you do? You go back and take the responsibility for changing out how you're saying it, rephrasing it to be a way that the person can understand. It may be that you need to change the language to being lots of visual words, or it may be that you need to use lots of auditory words, or even kinesthetic words. So the visual learner likes you to paint them a picture. The auditory learner likes you to hear you loud and clear. The kinesthetic learner likes to grasp what you're talking about. Start thinking about using words that could appeal to all the different learners. Learn to read the people that you're talking to. If your communication hasn't got through, I would suggest strongly it's your responsibility to make sure that it does. Otherwise, communication hasn't happened, not successfully anyway. That's my thought for the day. I'm going to go and enjoy my wawa. Bye.